Hello everybody, welcome back to another video where I talk over a game, and this is another one of those videos where I just want to talk about something that's on my mind that has nothing to do with planners or AuDHD. It's once again back to spirituality, and I think I'll talk a little slower this time because last time I talked about spirituality I don't think everybody really understood what I was trying to get at. But okay, so let's start with I believe in reincarnation. I believe that we are reincarnated over and over again until we've learned all the possible lessons that we could learn. And if you've reincarnated before, you've already learned some lessons, and you're trying to learn other lessons in your current lifetime. If you don't really get through those lessons this time, you'll probably try to do that again in the next life or the one after that. So, one of the things I also believe in then is when you end this current life, part of the dying process is you go through your entire existence that you had in this current life, this form, like the life review, I think they call that. And then you get to see all of the things that you've done that have influenced other people, the way other people influenced you, and you'll get to go through how that felt on both sides, etc., in order to learn something. I've heard that so many times now from different angles that I do believe that that is a part of it. And that makes me wonder about what that life review must look like. If you're somebody who does bad things, obviously it's going to be terrible because that'll be your version of hell afterwards. But imagine being somebody like a debt collector, somebody who calls people every day to ask about when you're going to pay this bill, when you're going to pay that bill, because you're making all these people feel terrible. That must be a really tough life review right there. To a certain degree, I do feel like due to the lessons that we want to learn, every time we will be going for certain paths. But I think if you do have a choice to not do bad things to other people, you probably should go for that and not just go, well, I guess this is my life now, this is what I'm supposed to do. Because another thing that I'm thinking about is if you're doing the life review, you're gonna go there, you're gonna witness events that took place. Some of these you may have consciously acted upon, like the events. You actually did something intentionally and that ended up hurting the other person. Others may have been passive, like you walked past somebody, you gave them a look, maybe you were in a bad mood, and the other person really took that to heart, something like that. Or you made a remark that was kind of callous but wasn't really intended that way, and that really drilled into the other person's mind and their feelings, etc. That could be a bit of a spicy review, if you will. So trying to avoid doing things like that offhandedly without really thinking about it, probably a good idea. The only thing with the life review that kind of bothers me is when you reincarnate, you don't remember anything of your past lives. Sometimes people remember a little bit. There's a couple of stories of kids who remember something of their past life, and then if that is investigated, then some of that will be true and some of it is not identified or confirmed. But generally, you do not remember what happened previously. So if you have a life review where you're seeing yourself walking down the street and grumbling at somebody, not because you meant to, but just because you yourself had a bad mood or something was going on, maybe you just saw something on your phone that made you upset, and then somebody else walking in the opposite direction sees that and then has a terrible time as a result of that, not because you directly tried to influence them, but because it just kind of happened. Like, what are you supposed to learn from that? There are some things that just happen, and it's not like there's much to learn other than try not to exist near other people, I guess. Because for instance, if I look at myself, and this kind of does relate to the AuDHD thing, when I'm masking, I have a bit of a Mona Lisa smile on my face. So I walk down the street and I go everywhere and I have this bit of a smile going on, like a very vague smile. I'm not aware of it, I'm not actively trying to smile. And some people will see that and smile at me as in smiling back at this person, and I'm like, oh wait, that's right, I'm smiling apparently. Other people do not react to it at all. And then there's another smaller section of people that get into their feelings because they think that somebody is taunting them by smiling at them, and that person would be me in that case. So they'll act out towards me, or they'll have a bad day because they think that I'm mocking them somehow or whatever. That is something that I just cannot control. Like, I've tried to mask in certain ways to try and get the least response from people that was negative. And I guess over time, my face settled on this Mona Lisa smile so people wouldn't think that I'm frowning at them, because that actually gets you worse responses. But I can't unlearn that in a next life? Well, like, what am I supposed to learn in the next life based on those interactions? There's just nothing going on there that I can do anything about. That's basically my whole thing there. So in short, I appreciate the life review. I don't think it's very useful for the life that you're about to live next. And maybe it's actually more of a database that you're gathering for your total overview. Like when you're done learning all your lessons, at least on Earth, I wonder if there's like other schools you can go to, quote unquote, after Earth, like different dimensions, different planets. Once you're done learning all these lessons, like maybe you have a whole database of things that you've experienced that you can maybe draw from for maybe a final exam. I don't really know. On the topic of potentially new worlds, I wonder if we had like a list of worlds that people could go to learn different lessons. Are we kind of in the middle as Earth, or are we still kind of at the bottom? Are we slightly more advanced? I don't really know. I don't think that ultimately advanced means that you're winning in this whole spiritual game, like I tried to explain last time. Or maybe I didn't quite say that last time. Anyway, what I think is that we're all part of the same energetic source. We're all tiny little pieces of this big energetic source. And all the tiny little pieces have to go through all these different lessons to gain experience. And then I guess that experience eventually goes back to the source. And then when it's done educating all of its little sparks, maybe we'll have a different type of lesson to learn after that. Or we'll go into a whole different type of existence. I don't know, very interesting. But I think we're not quite there yet. I think we still have a lot of people that are itching to go into another lifetime, whether on Earth or somewhere else. And ultimately, they will go through a life review at the end of that existence. And if you don't want to have your life review feeling like you're going through hell, maybe you want to be as nice and considerate as possible to the people around you. Try to ask questions instead of making assumptions. And you'll have a slightly easier time around. And then we just have to wait and see what happens next. Anyway, that is what was on my mind. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.